Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, members of the committee. My name is Louis Malfaro. I'm the president of the Texas American Federation of Teachers. We represent 65,000 bus drivers, food service workers, custodians, counselors, diagnosticians, librarians, and of course teachers all across the school district. I want to thank you and echo comments that have been made already for holding this hearing and for opening the door to listening directly to the voice of educators. I also want to echo the thanks to those of you that served on the School Finance Commission. I attended some of those meetings and watched the rest of them on TV, and you put a lot of time and effort and hours in, and it didn't go unnoticed by the folks in the classroom. So it gave us some hope, as did the early indication that the House budget would put perhaps billions of dollars above growth into our schools in this coming year. So my members are excited. They're excited about the work of this committee. They're excited about the possibilities of seeing pre-K get fully funded and about addressing what has been a decade of neglect of public schools that has really been borne by the children and families that attend those schools and the men and women who work in those schools. We're excited about the idea of a pay raise. And I wish that Representative King were here so that he could hear me say this. For the whole team. Not just for some of the team, but for the whole team. We know that teachers in Texas make about $7,000 below the national average. We know that teachers in Texas make about 28% less than other college-educated professionals that live in their cities and communities. So there's no doubt that we're overdue for a teacher pay raise in this state. But you heard earlier from the superintendent in Buffalo, and I don't think I can say it any more eloquently. You know, people that have to put their kids on Medicaid and go in for food stamps who are full-time public employees in our public schools means that we've let down not only our kids, but we've let down the people who show up every day, drive those buses at 4:30 and 5 a.m. when we're kind of peeking out the window as we wake up. We can do better. So I want to talk a little bit about compensation, because we disagree with the frame that the Commission put around compensation, and especially the notion of paying more to a limited number of highly qualified people. First of all, we have grave concerns about how this smaller cohort of educators gets selected. We know, and I know, because I travel all over this state and go into schools every week, at the fact that there are great teachers in every school in Texas doing important work. We are not opposed to differentiating pay. Headline, Texas Tribune, teacher union president says not opposed to differentiated pay. But if you've studied pay differentiation, you know it has to come on a base pay that's adequate, that's going to attract people into the profession and keep them there. Right now, 5% of college-going students say they are considering a career in teaching. That is a scary thing. We believe that teachers support the notion of extra pay for going to hard-to-staff schools. We have supported extra pay for teachers who demonstrate their excellence through certification with the National Board for Professional Teacher Standards. We believe that teachers in high shortage areas like bilingual teachers, special ed teachers, high school math and science teachers can and should be paid more. Currently, school districts have the ability to do that and the freedom to do that. We do not believe that teachers should be paid based on their students' standardized test scores. We are not alone in that belief. The public in Texas, recently surveyed by our friends at Raise Your Hand Texas, believes the same thing. The parents, including the Moms Against Drunk Testing sitting behind me, also agree with that. We've taken a long, hard look at the Dallas TEI model. I was up yesterday meeting with our executive board in the Dallas School District. More than a third of a teacher's score in TEI is based on standardized test scores. We have had enough of test and punish. We have had enough pressure to teach to the test. We don't believe that it is in the best interest of students, of public schools, or of teachers to put more emphasis on a multiple choice exam. Spend some time looking at TEI if you have not already. It is not a performance pay system. It is a system where only 20% of the people are able to qualify for the highest pay bonuses. It's a forced distribution. There's not a bar, and everybody that meets the bar gets the extra money. It is predicated on the idea that only a small percentage of teachers are good enough to qualify. We've looked at which schools the teachers in Dallas are most likely to get TEI bonuses. They are schools that serve more affluent students, they are magnet schools, and they are schools of choice where kids opt in to those schools. We do believe that it makes sense to create incentives for teachers to go to hard-to-staff schools. When I served as the president of our association in the Austin School District, we partnered with our local school superintendent and school board to design a system where teachers could earn additional money for teaching at hard-to-staff schools, for setting academic targets for their students that were objective and measurable and based on the curriculum that they were teaching and meeting those targets, and for coming to and staying at schools that had traditionally high turnover. The one caveat that we laid on the table in order to do that collaboratively with our superintendent and school board was that we were not going to agree to have our salaries tied to the state standardized test. There is just too much research out there from the academy that says unequivocally that the STAR test is not an accurate measure of a teacher's effectiveness in the classroom. So I'm going to end on a positive note, Chairman Huberty. We're excited about the work that this committee is doing. This is a grand slam House committee. Every one of you has been a fighter for public schools. A few of you have taught in public schools. Not more than a couple of you have sat on school boards, been principals, been superintendents. And we have confidence that y'all are going to get this done. We want to work with you on this, but we want you to do it right. Thank you.
Okay, questions?